Mark?
Yes, live. You want to go live?
Mark? Okay. Welcome, everybody.
What's the positioning shot?
Okay, we're live.
We're live now?
Yes,
Oh,
we're live.
This is it.
This is it.
All right, we're starting. Welcome everybody to Milieux Institute's first ever virtual open house. It's a pleasure to meet everybody, and it's a pleasure to attempt this very first ever experiment. We wanted to do this kind of since before COVID started, and then we realized we couldn't do it because nobody was around to show anybody. So now we're all kind of back. And so we're trying to take this opportunity to give a tour. And what we find is that explaining what goes on at Milieux is best done when you're here and you can see things and you can meet people. And because you all can't come all at the same time, we thought we would take you around. And so the object of this tour is to move around, see our labs, see our spaces, meet our students, and see some of the projects that are going on here. And hopefully you'll get some insight into the kind of institute that we have and the kind of research culture that we're trying to develop here. So I wish you the best of good times. I'm going to be on the chat answering any questions anybody has and pointing out some nifty things from the perspective of myself, the director of the Institute. And in the meantime, enjoy yourselves.
Thank you, Bart. Where are we going, Mark? Okay, we're heading to the first location, Technoculture Arts and Games Research Cluster with our guide, Hanin. Hello. Okay, this is Tag. Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Wow. This is wonderful. Okay, how are you?
Good.
Good.
High energy.
I'm Calero Mastanero. I'm the coordinator here at TAG, and this is Trilla Khalid, the director.
The director.
Yeah.
All right. So first things first, I guess you will want to know what TAG is. So TAG stands for Technoculture, Art, and Games, and it is a research center which has been around in one form or another, basically since 2008, 2009. So we consider ourselves perhaps the most established games research center in the entire country. So what's special about us as a research center, as a lab, is that we're incredibly interdisciplinary. Back in the early days, when the lab was being formed, Bart Simon and Lynn Hughes, Bart Simon from Sociology, Lynn Hughes from Fine Arts, they started talking, and they both had their respective graduate students, both of them researching games from different angles, and basically said, you know, wouldn't the outputs of our conversations, of our research, the collective potential of our students, wouldn't that be much greater if we could put them in the same room together and see what happens? So basically, that is how the lab came to be. At this point, we're many more than 2 faculty members. We have, I think, 19. We have representation from every single faculty in the university. And each one of those faculty members, they bring their games-related graduate students to TAG. So we are an incredibly interdisciplinary mix. We have people who are looking at questions related to VR and play. We have people looking at questions related to games and learning, to designing games for senior citizens. We have people looking at experimental game design. We have people looking at alt controller games. We have people looking at games and gambling. We do we do various kinds of games research. So it ranges from sort of classic social science, humanities approaches to real design engagement. So we do a lot of research creation as well, which means that we have a lot of graduate students who making games, making playful experiences is a really important part of knowledge production. And you're going to hear a little bit more about that later when we talk to Jody. But I'm going to pause to take a breath and maybe we can.
That's amazing.
move on.
Thank you, Rila. That was wonderful.
So,
Hi.
So as I said, I'm Claire Rosnervo. I'm the coordinator here. While Rilla is a professor over in computation arts, I've been connected to TAG for about 10 years now. I used to be a graduate student here, and then I went away and did a postdoc, and then I came back as the coordinator. And I think one of the things that makes TAG like a really powerful and special place is the ability to like harness students and to create like really meaningful, powerful research. And so on that, we have a few sort of flagship research rhizomes going on in the lab this year. One of them, which is being the whole concept of these rhizomes, these touchstone research projects pioneered by Rilla, and one of the projects, her project, which focuses on game design as research and how to like trace game design using grounded theory. And so we have we just had our kickoff meeting for that. We have a bunch of students that are like building games and then documenting their processes on it, and then coming together to discuss how we can like create methods and practices for that traceability and that documentation. Another project that Rilla briefly mentioned is our Game Bling, which is headed up by Martin French. And that is a project all about the impact of gambling and creating sort of like upstream intervention techniques and upstream critiques of how gambling and gaming work in that sector. And then the other big research project that we have in the lab this year is Minecraft and material allegories, which has taken over a whole little annex, the Minecraft block, if you will. And this is a group that is, well, I'll just let them talk about it.
For sure. So we are going with the Minecraft group. Hi.
Hello, I'm Theodore Fox. I'm an undergraduate student here at TAG. Richie?
Hi, I'm Richie Zarchnikorn. I'm a master's student here at TAG.
You're studying sociology, right?
I sure am. What are
Yeah.
you studying?
English.
That's very cool. A
Yeah.
lot of reading, huh?
Yeah, a lot of, well, we both do lots of reading.
I know.
We're together in the Minecraft block. We use Minecraft as a tool for allegorical thinking. So Minecraft is a game that has some representational properties, but it's not really simulationist, right? If you come across a tree in Minecraft, it's made up of a bunch of blocks that represent logs, and you can break down a log and turn it into planks or turn it into sticks, and then use that in some way. But also, as you'll see, Richie, can you look at that tree again? Mm-hmm. When we cut out the middle of a tree, the rest of the tree doesn't just automatically fall down. So there's a way in which it's not really a simulation, and that gap between what it represents and then what is simulated allows us to do some interesting thinking about real world objects. So one of our main objects of study right now is called the Fun Palace, which is an architectural project from the 60s that was commissioned by Joan Littlewood, a British theater director. I actually have a picture of Joan over here. Start to gesture at this. This is our
Crazy wall.
Crazy wall,
Exactly.
as we
That's what they
call
call it.
We have Joan just here. She's a British theater artist from the 30s through 70s. And she wanted in the 60s to commission a building that would be a sort of working class arts and leisure and education center in Eastern London. And to that end, she commissioned the eccentric, then very young architect Cedric Price to build this Fun Palace that is sort of seems impossibly large, and yet they had every intention of building it. They assembled a super group of thinkers from many disciplines. We have Gordon Pask over there, a cybernetician. We have, of course, Buckminster Fuller, futurist and inventor. Right at the top, Rainer Banham, who's a city theorist and architect. And luckily here in Montreal, we have access to the CCA, the Canadian Centre for Architecture, which bought Cedric Price's archives in 1995. So we have so much material on this, and we've been going, what, every week or two, basically, for this fall term to research this with the eventual goal of building a version of the Fun Palace in Minecraft. The Fun Palace was never built, and people have been trying to build models of it, have successfully built various small-scale models of it over the decades. Because of its sort of interdisciplinary structure, it's a very influential project. But now we get to build a working version in a real space with an interdisciplinary team that then hopefully we can invite lots of people to come join us to visit and investigate in the spring. So that's what we've been deep in the trenches on. Do you want to talk about the experience of that research? Richie.
So first, thank you so much, Theo. So that actually kind of symbolizes how I'm seeing this whole project, because I'm a sociologist by training. So building blocks for society and social change isn't exactly, how we see things. We tend to see things as all interconnected, as all kind of mushy stuff of everyday life. So having kind of the grid, the kind of predictability of Minecraft has helped the sociologists kind of see the patterns of a world that we build, but it's the kind of the randomness, the encounters, the emergent narratives that happen. Oh, see that? It's like the force is here. I'm going to talk to this camera. The kind of the randomness that comes in, and that's a fantastic way of life to do. Okay, my goodness. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about our kind of grant in general. So this grant is kind of sponsored, written by, spearheaded actually, that's a good word, by Dr. Bart Simon, Dr. Jaron Werschler, and it's 4 parts in total. So our first part right here is Technoculture Leisure, which is the Fun Palace. And that really kind of the crux behind this Fun Palace structure was to kind of revive that inner consciousness, that kind of oomph for working class Londoners in the 1960s, right? But the catch is actually, not only does it revive the working class Londoners, it revives the kind of the bourgeois, right? For them to see, wait a minute, social class shouldn't stop people from having the access of fun. Everyone has to learn to work. Everyone already knows how to have fun. That's why I, as a sociologist, can play this so well, because I don't know how to have fun on Minecraft until now. But anyway, so that's what we're looking at in the first year. Our second year is going to be about consumption, right? Because in Minecraft, as many of you will know, if you play the game, you use a lot of stuff, right? Like, you consume one in a Minecraft game.
I mean, food to keep your character alive, resources to build, right? It's Minecraft very materialist, right? If you want to build a house, you have to get the stones or the wood or whatever from somewhere else.
Yeah.
And yet Minecraft doesn't really model the externalities of all this production, right? You don't have to, if you convert iron ore to bricks of iron.
You're right. Yep.
You don't have any slag left over. You don't have any waste byproducts. You don't have any pollution that's given off by that. And so it is this materialist thing, but it's missing this very important aspect of how we think about the world, especially now, especially in an age of climate change.
Absolutely.
And, so we want to play with that. We use modded Minecraft when we do things so that we can add additional functionality. And so I suspect we'll be going through for this phase existing mods, but also commissioning some of our own and designing some of our own.
Absolutely. Kind of the excess, like what do you do with that excess? How do you play with that? Then we have Indigenizing Minecraft, which will be led actually and helped by Jason E. Lewis in the Obings Lab. And then finally our consolidating year where we read a book and hopefully, you'll see. But the goal of this all is probably to make the play public and the play fun. Isn't that right?
That's wonderful.
And I think we will continue with some other members of TAG.
Wait, before I want to check out this. What is this? Can you?
I mean, I think that I can't take credit for any of the warmth of this space. That is all Gina Hara, who has been the coordinator here for a really long time, is on sabbatical right now. I'm just poorly filling up her place. But Gina wanted this space a space that researchers play to be playful. So we have, it's not on all the time, but we do have the campfire over here. We've got our chalk wall over there. Over in that corner, we support MakerSpace. We have all sorts of raw materials in the space to allow.
Can I touch it?
Yeah, go for it.
Oh my God.
Yeah, we have all sorts of materials in the space so that people can like follow whatever creative urges that they need. And then of course we have all of the standard consoles. Still working on a PS5, but we'll get to that. So
Yay.
the main reason that we want to have all of those things in place is so that we can support student-led projects and students have the resources they need to make their research really just follow it where it leads to. Which brings us over to Jody and the Liveness project.
Hi, Jody.
Hi. Yeah, this is the Liveness project. This is a project I'm working on for Lynn Hughes and Bart Simon. It's called Scaling Liveness in Participatory Experiences. I have a background in dance, and I do research in performance and video games. So I'm really interested in how video games choreograph player movements and player experience. So this project is called The Other Market, and it's going to be, we're hoping to get it going really soon, a game that happens in a live market. So it's an actual, like, it's a digital physical game. So it's a kind of a mix between participatory theater, LARPing, so a bit of role playing, and game mechanics. So here you can see a sample of the 3 different character classes and kind of what they're doing in the game. So we have the one class will have one of these sort of old school-ish, reinvented old school text. So they're going to be taking photos of objects. Another class will be building objects. And the 3rd class will be hearing stories about objects. So that's really the anchor. Objects and objectness is really the anchor of the project. And we're trying to leverage mechanics that happen within the market itself. So looking at objects, you know, walking around, hearing the sights, hearing the sounds, the tangibility of creating objects, sort of the artisanal engagement with the material, and then the stories of what gives value to objects. So not just about money exchange, but about history, any kind of thing you can imagine that someone could tell about stories, and collections. So how objects come together to create meaning. These are all the things that we're working on. And this is Dawn.
Hello,
I'm
Dawn.
Don. I'm also a member of TAG, and I'm a background in creating wireless experiences with devices and Bluetooth and things right now. And right now I'm just frantically trying to debug software to make things work better.
So do you want to explain maybe a bit more about what's the text? So we're working with Bluetooth beacons and the Pi to create the audio experience.
That's right. So we've got Bluetooth beacons which be positioned around the space like the market, and the Raspberry Pi detects those Bluetooth signals, and based on the volume of the signals, sends different audio tracks to these Bluetooth headphones here. And so a lot of the work is just getting it to start up like you want it to, and boot, especially on demo days.
Yeah.
And then it can work 12 times in a row when you're by yourself. Like, as soon as you show other people.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you. This is amazing. Thank you.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Well, we're gonna go to the next location.
Okay, there's one more thing that
Okay.
I wanted to talk to you about before I let
Yay,
you go.
of course.
The 3rd main thing that TAG does, which is events and organizing and trying to widen the space for both looking at and creating games. So Gamerella was also created by Gina. I'm obviously a big fan of hers. And it is an alternative game making jam in which the idea is not to burn out, and the idea is not to like crunch yourself, but to create games in like a supportive environment. And it's targeted towards people who are usually marginalized in games creation. So it's actually just getting set up. You'll probably walk past the tables getting set up for it because it's going to start running this weekend. And these are just all of the trophies. So tune into that, I guess. If you go and search for Gamerella, you'll find them pretty quick, and you can see some of the games that they end up making. So
That's wonderful. So Gamerella is starting tomorrow, the whole
Gamerella
weekend?
starts tomorrow morning and it goes all weekend. Thank you so much for coming into this space. Enjoy the rest of the live stream, I guess.
Thank you for welcoming us. This has been amazing. You have
Okay.
a wonderful space.
Thanks so much, guys.
Bye, Tag.
Bye, folks.
All right, where are we?
Thanks, everyone.
Bye.
Where are we going next?
Where are we
you know?
heading, Mark?
I'm gonna look at our list. It looks like we're gonna go visit some robots and
Yeah.
machine agencies.
We're gonna visit Machine Agencies, which is a research group from the Speculative Life Research Cluster. And they're gonna showing us some robot friends.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
You noticed all the furniture's been moved around up here. I think this is all for Gamerella this weekend, isn't it? Everything's on
Yay.
the way, getting ready for the big event.
Yeah, and we
Look
have
at that big brown box over there. That's electrical.
and we have here one organizer with Gamerella. So hey. Hello.
All right.
Okay, so where are we heading? This is the 10th floor of the EV building, the Concordia EV building. And yeah, we are heading to the headquarters of Machine Agencies,
Fantastic.
the research cluster that belongs to
Oh
Speculative
my
Life.
goodness, they've taken over.
Woo!
What is going on in here?
What is this?
What is this complete madness?
Oh my God. Say buen bananas. Hi.
We're not answering your question.
Okay.
What's going on? Hello? Hello?
Hello.
Can you hear me? I think we should go through that and
Yeah,
what's
we're
going on over here.
okay. So this came from here. Hello. Hi, Seth.
How are you? Did
I'm-
you leave your door open again?
Yeah, I mean, having some exercise.
Awesome.
Not a big deal. Now we're going together, except for you.
That was a complaint. Yes, you're quite right.
Yeah,
Those
There-
are vicious, scathing complaints.
yeah.
They're kind of noisy, right?
Yeah, they got really close to the door.
No, it's
think it's
fine. I think we're fine.
Their friends are much more chill. And, a couple more are just having a sleep over here. But since you're around, you can just like loose them all together. And see what,
Is that safe?
well, I mean, they're friends. They've been living together for a long time.
Fantastic.
Okay,
Do they become more
so
powerful when you work together?
In a community sense, yes. Power in numbers.
Fair enough.
Right.
how are you? So can you tell us a little bit about you and the space?
Sure. First of all, hi YouTube. How's it going? Hit that like button and don't forget to subscribe. Yeah, so I'm Zeph Thibodeau. I'm here at Concordia as a PhD student. I study human-machine interaction. And this glorious space is the Machine Agency's research group office, where a few of us share space and work together. And obviously the robots work with us as well. Not just robots though. There's a printer, there's a cardboard hat. We have a typewriter. It's almost like a refuge for machines who need a bit of extra love and care. Indeed, yeah. And hello. And there's a Roomba project that's just getting off the ground again after the pandemic. Hence all the Roombas outside.
They all seem to be pretty firmly on the ground.
Well, they're gonna stay on the ground for the most part. We haven't got any plans to make them into drones or anything.
No airborne?
No, no quadcopter Roombas. But we've got two here that used to work domestically at my house. They're actually married.
Oh.
You can look up Instagram Roomba Romance. You'll find the whole story of their engagement. In any case, nowadays they've moved over here to teach the research Roombas about the traditional ways of the Roomba and domestic workers. However, obviously, Roombas can be much more than that. And we're hoping to explore that a bit more and find out what potential there is for Roombas as friends or different kinds of colleagues. So hopefully, by the time this project is finished, we'll have these robots that are doing ethnographies on humans as opposed to the other way around.
Wow, that's wonderful. And wow, okay, this is your desk.
Yeah.
What is this?
So this was a writing robot that's currently in a state of disassembly. I was trying to figure out how to disassemble it this morning just to, again, learn about it and find out what sort of career opportunities there are outside of just drawing. And to give it a bit more freedom from the original intent of the designers. So we'll see where that goes. And I have a feeling that there's a dance involved in its future, but we'll see. It's all just early days. But as you can see, here we love machines. It's the Machine Agency's research group, and that comprises a lot of different interests and subjects. You're seeing a lot of robots here and various physical machines. But Machine Agency goes beyond that. There are students and faculty who are interested in AI and AI policy, as well as philosophical elements of what is agency and how machines exhibit that. And then we have the more physical interactions with actual robots and physical machines in that sense. So sort of acting on the world and agency in that regard. And I'm interested in the relationship that people form with machines as more than just using them as, dare I say, slaves, and rather looking at different ways that we can have different types of relationships, like friendships, like even family with machines around us, and recognize the types of relationships we have every day.
That's wonderful, Seth. And last question before we go to the next location. So how did you get to know Milieu at first? How's that changed your graduate experience?
Well, when I first joined Concordia, I was in the individualized program. I still am. And one of the things that individualized program students sometimes struggle with is finding a community of like-minded individuals because everybody's doing their own thing. What I found about Milieu was that gave me the sense of community and the research collaborations that allowed me to really flourish here, because Milieu has so many different members and they're organized in different groups, such that there's possibilities for you to get involved with projects that are ongoing and also to receive support both socially and academically on the stuff you're interested in. So for me, that was a big plus, because without Milieu, I wouldn't have gone down this road with the robots that we've seen today. And I certainly wouldn't be having as much fun.
Okay, thank you. This has been really fun. So thank you for showing us your robot friends.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Okay,
All
so
right.
we're heading to the Residual Media Depot.
Let's give that a try.
Mark, can you tell me about the Residual Media Depot?
Well, I could tell you about the Residual Depot, but what would be the point when we have Darren Warshler waiting to tell us all about the Residual Depot, Media Depot?
Oh, wow.
Okay, yeah.
Is that it?
We're heading to this
around the corner right there with the beautiful bright orange chairs just waiting there.
Amazing.
Super. I mean,
Hello.
if we can't sit here, I mean, this is marvelous. What a joy.
Wow, this is a marvelous living room.
Well, that's what the orange chairs are for, yeah.
Hello,
Right.
Darren.
Hi, how are you?
We're fine. Thank you for receiving us. How are you today?
I'm good. I'm trying to do about 4 things as usual, so it's a normal day.
Okay, so can you tell us about the Residual Media Depot?
Okay, so this project started in 2016 as part of the Media History Research Center. At the time, it was supported by the second chunk of my university research chair. And what we decided to do, Bart, Simon, and I were part of a large grant out of University of Waterloo, focusing on video games and immersion. So this was part of that project. And what it is now is the largest university collection in Canada of boxed video games from about 1972 to 2002. And the largest collection of modified video games in a university in the world, as far as I know.
Wow.
So at any given time, there are maybe 4 or 5 students working here. We support a number of different projects. We have a project on Sega Genesis audio that we're doing right now. One of the students designed a circuit that will fix the audio in any Sega Genesis board ever. So
Wow.
we've modified about a dozen of them to install various versions that people who from all over the world have sent. We have a project using Nintendo Wii's as game emulators that was part of a class that I was teaching before lockdown in 2019. There are projects on handheld gaming consoles like the Game Boy Advance and the Game Boy Proper that some of the students are working on. And we're doing a lot of work on fan emulations of games like Metroid and Super Metroid right now. So yeah, there's a lot happening.
So Darren, thank you for that was amazing. You're also the director of the Media Materiality Cluster. So can you tell us about the Media Materiality Cluster a little bit?
Well, the Media Materiality Cluster draws people from a number of different departments, mostly in arts and sciences. There are people from history, there are people from English, there are people from communication studies, all working on various projects that have to do with media history. DIGS is now also part of our cluster, so I think you're going to be talking to them a little bit later this morning,
Yes.
so they can tell you what they do. But they're the newest addition to the group of people that are working out of that room. Oh, okay, sorry, I'm a little froggy this morning. Let's see, what else can I tell you about? Yeah, I mean, there are the Media and Materiality Cluster has other spaces around campus other than on Milieu. There's a large audio lab in the library building, and there's a second space for the Media History Research Center out at Loyola. So we're spread out all over the place. But again, at any given time, there are probably half a dozen students working regularly out of that room.
Awesome. Aside from all, I'm going to switch back to this depot, obviously,
Okay.
because I'm just enjoying looking around and snooping. What, apart from all these wonderful research outcomes and stuff, what is the funnest thing about the space to you?
The funnest
Because
thing
damn, it
about
looks
the
like
space
fun.
to me, well, the joke that my students have is that they, despite everything that's in here, they never see me playing the game for more than about 10 minutes. What I like to do is plug things together and see if I can make them work in the most preposterous combination possible, usually.
That's fantastic.
So trying to make something really old visible and useful in a contemporary classroom space was how all of this started. Like I had this Xbox from, I don't know, the last time they made them, like the early 2000s. And I took it upstairs to tag and I said, I need to plug this into a classroom. And one of my PhD students said, we don't have anything that old.
I love that.
And so this project started in a fit of pique where I went back to my office and started getting my hands on the oldest equipment that I could get as quickly as possible.
That's
So
great.
I just like plugging things in and seeing what happens.
I totally understand that, but that's great.
Well, that's wonderful, Darren. Thank you so much for receiving us. This is amazing.
Thank you. Come by anytime.
Great. So we're heading.
Where are
our
we heading to next, Ariana?
Yeah, our next
Bye-bye.
location
Bye.
is the Speculative Life Research Cluster.
Well, let's
which is
go. It's
right
just down
in
the hall.
corner, down the
We can't
hall.
get lost doing this.
Okay.
Where are we headed?
We're heading to
Speculative life.
Speculative Life
Oh,
Research
okay.
Cluster.
What's going on in the speculative life cluster, we all wonder.
Hello. Hi, everyone. How are you today? Okay, so we've been touring different spaces. Do you want to tell us a little bit about this space?
Yeah, actually, Brennan
I'd be
will start
happy
with
to.
the
Of
speculative.
course.
Hi,
Hey,
everyone.
Brennan.
Hi, Ariana. Hi, everyone. My name is Brendan McCracken. I'm a PhD student in English here at Concordia and a member of the Speculative Life Research Cluster. Spec Life, as it's often known, is co-directed by Dr. Jill Ditter, who's a professor in English, and Dr. Craig Hetherington, who teaches in anthropology. And I think it's a sort of unique cluster for the ways in which it brings together researchers in humanities and social sciences, as well as people practicing in fine arts and research creation, to engage sort of from a bunch of different angles with questions of futurity, whether that look like our relationship to the environment and ecology, our relationships with materials and practices of infrastructure and extraction,
All those things find a home here at Speclife, and because of that, I think it's a really generative and interesting sort of blend of research topics and interests. So welcome to the space.
Thank you, Brennan. So you're a student here?
Yes, yes.
So you're a student, a PhD student in Technoculture?
That's right, yes.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so, and what's this? Like, is this an exhibition?
I will talk really. So this is a casture, which is work made by Alice and her team. So I don't have all the names in mind, but there's Smart Kocha, Philippe Vandal, Jacqueline Beaumont, and a few others, Don and Dean. And this work explores the capture and sensing of atmospheric particles. So you can see behind you, just here, this little station which sends atmospheric values like CO2 amount, etc. And over some computer system, it is retranscribed in filtration of air device, which will process and show how air is filtered through Abaca, which is a plant, Abaca filters, something like that. So a lot of media things related to this, which exhibit the air capture process and retranscript it ourselves.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. This is great. All right, so
Yeah,
Nadia,
talk about the ethno lab.
of course.
So, like Brennan said, the ethno lab is directed by Craig Henrichsen, who's the co-director of the Speculative. He's an anthropology professor, so a lot of students that end up looking at the ethno lab are anthropologists, but we also work with science and technology students, geographers, and humanities. I can talk about the research we did this summer.
Please.
There are about 7 of us, and we went to an island situated between Francophone and Bahrain, so north of Montreal. Some people living there today have families that have been there for generations. And the start of the seigneurial regime was on this island, so we see some ruins. And there's a big problem of erosion also, so the chalets have been moving, and the history of the island is kind of changing with the stories that the residents are making of this place. But the big issue that we were interested in is the eviction of these residents that are going to have to leave the island because of an eco park by the city of Montreal. So this is us crossing over to the island with the residents. So we took 2 trips for us all to get on the shore of the island. There's a big part of the island that's wetlands. So that's here. They are hunters. So this is a hunting cabin that the residents built themselves, and it's very part of the activity of the island. So we saw a lot of hunters when we went there, and this is the erosion part. But there's also this beautiful nature that's being taken care of by the residents that are caring for this island for generations and
That's wonderful, Maya. And you're the coordinator?
Yeah, I'm the coordinator of the lab.
Also
Yeah.
student. So you study also a master's?
Yeah,
here?
I'm studying my master's in anthropology. Yeah.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're heading with next with Melina.
Hi, well, my name is Melina. I'm a third-year student in anthropology. I was the coordinator of the lab before Maya, and now I'm in charge of a project that we're working with 4 other ethnography labs in Toronto, UBC, University of Southern California, and University of Pennsylvania. And the project consists of engaging with infrastructural objects and tinker around methodology. So in this case, we are going to engage with a quarry. It's called Carrière Francophone in the north side of Montreal. And this morning we had quite a nice exercise that I would say it was had some sort of cross-pollination with TAG, because we visited that lab in the morning, we did it here. He took us there, he showed us how they do, like, the methodologies they use to think about their projects. And after that kind of inspirational visit to TAG, we came here and tried to reproduce what they did. So basically, we prepared some materials relating to the history of the site, but also the potential futures. And we started kind of to build the connections around, and it was very productive. Now we know what we're going to be focusing on in our ethnographic journey. And yeah, we will be sharing this with what other labs in the US and the rest of Canada are doing. So it's really exciting.
That's wonderful. Yeah, we've been visiting the board. It's just this morning. So yeah, it's a cross-pollinization. This is wonderful. So Melina, so I have a last question. Maybe Maya,
do that.
participate. How did you get involved with the lab and how that's affected
That's me.
change your
I was doing that on
life
purpose. It's not good? Okay, I'll stop.
Because we,
here at
it's like
Milieux?
giving us seasick.
Okay, fair enough.
Okay, so have a good tour.
So for me, it was a great way to start graduate studies and already have a
Hey, how are you? Good.
for me,
I'm just ready here.
You're
You're the next people, right?
The PhD from Costa Rica, where I'm originally from. So I was part of the lab even before coming here in person. And actually, well, lab was where I met people. I started to tinker with ethnography and methods. And actually that weird experience, I would say really was really important to me because I started to write about that the lab gave me the space to publish. I ended up engaging with a series of blogs, and the series ended up being part of the exhibition that Milieux did. So for me, it was very interesting way to get into the lab and how the lab and also Milieux gave me a space to showcase my work, but also to deal with the weird emotions of the pandemic. So yeah, I cannot imagine my graduate experience without being part of the lab, and that has also influenced the methodologies I want to use in my own work.
And the blogs are still outside. Can you see them?
Yes, please.
Okay, yeah, we are gonna go as we head to the MASH lab, which is the lab we have in front of us. Oh,
We have a film night next Wednesday.
yes. Come. Okay, this is your, oh yeah, you exhibited this piece at our expo last year.
So it was very interesting to me because when you write, you sometimes don't consider yourself as an artist, but Milieux told me, no, actually you can make a piece with what you did and be part of the exhibition. So actually I got the help from Milieux to make this into a piece, and it was, I think, very Milieux because I'm using this QR code so people would come and just, you know, scan the code and read the whole blog. And yeah, it was really amazing for me, and I hope we can do more in the next exhibition.
Thank you for receiving us. Bye. Okay, so we go to the MASH lab. Hello. How are you? Wow, this is wonderful. What are you doing?
We're mortgaging fabric so that we can dye it shortly. We're going to be using these marigold flowers to dye with, and hoping to get somewhere in the green gold spectrum. We got some samples of some dye material. So the mordant allows the dye to take into the cellulose fabric. And so that's what we're doing now. Jen's really the wizard. I'm the wizard's accomplice.
Hello, Jen.
Hello.
So do you want to tell us a little bit about this space?
I have to do that. Yeah, okay. This is our new lab. It's called the MASH lab, but I always forget what the H is about.
I've heard the rumors that it stands for matter.
Materiality, matter. Sustainable hybrids. Hybrids, right? Yes.
Matter and sustainable hybridity.
And we own that.
Where we're allowed to play with wet materials. We are thinking about dyeing and using sustainable materials like flowers, and we think that we grow. So that's the summer harvest, the fall harvest. But we're also thinking about like making paper and recuperating a lot of materials to make new materials with. So we'll have we have grinders, we'll have a textile shredder, and all these fun stuff.
Oh,
So
that's wonderful.
We can reuse and make sustainable materials.
Okay.
We're also planning to see what we can integrate with obsolete technology. We have a very old digital printer that we can't really any longer get chemical dyes for. So we thought we'll see what we can manage to get the printer to do with the natural dyes and see whether there's a way to hack it and explore it.
Because we can make pigments out of the dyes that we have. Over there's a lot of samples from Miranda. She works a lot with rust, dyeing with rust and nails and things that you can find on the street. We also have a pile of aprons that we dyed with her bundle dye. So we're having all these workshops about how to make your own lab equipment. So we have a space where we can make glass to make petri dishes out of bottles. What else are we going to make? We're going to make our own labels out of paper and recycled materials. And
Mark, so that's
something else. Oh, Mark! That's Mark's.
What is that, Mark?
I made this apron. I colored this
You
apron. I
made
dyed
yourself
this
that
apron. Well, I didn't stitch it or anything, but I dyed it at one of the first. It was the inaugural workshop in this lab. And it's a lot of fun. I think I have it on the wrong way. I think the other side's a little brighter.
So you dyed it with natural dyes, like with natural plants, and you did your own arrangements.
Yeah, and I put a nail in the pocket.
A nail?
So I thought to see what it would do.
See how the rest is colored.
So this color was made with a nail.
Yeah,
Or
all of that. Yeah, it darkens the color. Like iron is what we call a saddener.
Yes.
So we are making some experiments here, as you can see.
Wow.
Rust and rust dye. It's nothing super new, but it's new here and it's fun. It's fun to experiment, and we start from that to again be able to invent new processes.
And to connect with communities so that we can harvest plants. These are from a harvest last year, actually, from the botanical gardens that gave us a lot of the offcuts of the plants that they were just going to compost. And so Jen and some of our other grad students were able to create pigments and dyes from those so that we could work with different dye processes here and be more sustainable, even through the botanical gardens, to have the dye materials, the dye plants come into play. I think was great. And I should introduce myself. I'm Kathleen Vaughn. I'm faculty here at Concordia in Art Ed, and I'm one of the co-directors of the Textiles and Materiality cluster. And the MASH lab is sort of like a cousin to the cluster.
And we're gonna go after this to the Textiles and Materiality Research Cluster. So Kathleen, you're here. Can you tell us a little bit about the cluster?
Yes, I mean it's a community of faculty, part-time, full-time, and very importantly, grad students who work with different technologies, digital technologies there. We have a fabulous Tajima embroidery machine, which is a 7-needle machine that allows great, huge embroideries. You'll see it in action. Jen is our technician there. We have a smaller brother embroidery machine for people who are doing little bits of work. That kind of digital embroidery allows for laying of conductive threads and building of circuits so that the textiles can be integrated with electronics, if that's something somebody wants to do. We also have a digital jacquard loom, which allows for the creation of image and texture and pattern in weaving. And I think we're just now in the process of changing the warp thread, which is a continuously long run through which you then weave. We're moving from white to black. So you'll see a lot of people tying some of the thousands of knots that have to happen in order for the warp thread to sustain. But it's a very popular tool as well.
That sounds exciting. Let's go have a look at that.
Yeah, let's have a look at that. Okay, thank you.
Thanks for visiting.
Bye. Well, this is just a last look at the grinder. Wow. Wonderful. Yeah. Okay. Let's go.
Okay.
Bye. See you. All right, that was fun. So we're heading to Textiles and Materiality Research Cluster.
Sure. I look sideways on here. I don't know what's going on. Are we sideways or are we not? Who can say? Cross Textiles passing by once more.
Passing by once more the Residual Media Depot. Bye. And heading to Textiles. We're all near each other.
Hello.
We're in the 11th and 10th floor.
Well, is this the Textiles and Materiality cluster? We'll start here maybe.
Okay.
This looks like a very inviting, comfortable space.
Wow. Whoa, what's this? Hello.
Hello, how are you?
Wow, this is amazing.
That is super cool. I feel like I've heard rumors about this.
Tell me
Is
about
this the
rumors.
bodysuit sport outfit? Is this what this is? A piece of this? I think this is something that musicians wear, and the conductor is able to send signals to them. I think these are the Wi-Fi modules, and these are LEDs, and it's all like, look, you can take them off with this conductive Velcro, and it's all washable. And on the inside, there's these little vibration devices that allow for like this haptic communication, so that the conductor can interface with the musicians while they're during performances. And look at this beautiful embroidery all over it. It's endless embellishment.
And have you checked this? Wow, this is wonderful. All right. So we're heading to the technical room. Okay. Let's go. Okay.
Awesome. Well, no, hold on. I want us to look at something else in there.
Okay.
First. We just got interrupted here.
Sound.
Simon, to let us know about our sound
Make sure it's
issues.
loud.
Okay. We're trying.
Let's head back inside.
Yeah.
We're talking about this jacquard loom that is being, that has been, you know, that exists. What?
Is this hand woven or do you know?
This is not hand woven, but well, it's hand woven in that it's done by hand, yes. But it is done on a computer controlled jacquard loom. It still means that everything is controlled by, while the file and stuff and the design is done on computer, it is all still handwork.
Yeah, like people they need to set up everything.
Super exciting to see that next door. So like this kind of machine, for instance, which is a floor loom, has like 4 heddles on it. You're able to do, you know, a more limited, despite being very varied, a more limited array of designs. Well, next door it becomes basically unlimited.
Maurice, do you want to introduce yourself? Say something? Okay. Yes.
Hi everyone, I'm Norris. I'm the textile coordinator for Textiles Materiality. So I just kind of help organize the space and our membership and do newsletters. And that's me. I'm also a PhD student who just started.
And what are you studying?
I'm studying interdisciplinary humanities, so in research creation. So I'm looking at the ways textiles convert to communities and also help with kind of dealing with feelings of climate anxiety.
Fantastic. I'm seeing a bunch of yarns and things set up on the table here. Is working with yarn something that's been happening in this space recently?
Yeah, so we had a knit cafe a week or so ago. I think it was just last week. So we're, you know, just as we get back into being in person, we're trying to arrange ways to come together and do activities casually together as a, you know, cluster community.
Wow, that's wonderful.
Fantastic.
I have to come. So you just get together, you knit, you crochet.
Yeah.
People have their own projects.
And we have a hot water dispenser, so we also have tea and cookies and chocolate.
Oh, that's
It's
wonderful.
amazing. I dropped by at the last one and it was super cool. I was inspired on the weekend to make a very small scarf, but
Oh, wow. You did that?
yeah, it was a quiet weekend. And,
Good.
well, it's you know, considering I haven't done it in 2 years, but I need some
Okay.
work. I'll definitely have to come to the next one and up my game.
Yeah, in January.
Up my knit game.
And where can we learn about these events?
So we have a website, textilesandmateriality.com, I believe, but you can look
for us. And once you're a member, it's an easy access form. If you're a student or faculty member, you can book this space, and you can also do workshops to learn how to use the fancy embroidery machine, the Tajima, and as well as the Jacquard loom. So there's a lot of support for projects and various things like that.
Wonderful. Thank you, Maurice.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. I think we should head next door and see if Genevieve is around.
Yeah.
She was in the MASH lab before, wasn't she working? I wonder if she'll be there so that we can learn a bit more about the space. In the Jacquard loom, that's right, setting up the new warp. Let's go see if she's there.
This is the first time I'm here.
Is it the first time you've been here?
Yeah.
Wow, that's.
Oh, wow. Hello.
Hi, Rita. How's it going? So what's going on? What can you tell us?
We are actually putting a new warp on the Jacquard loom. So this is the old warp that was white, and now we're adding all the black threads we need to knot. One by one.
Do you know how many threads there are that you're having to knot here one at a time?
Is it 1,700?
Oh, I think that's Genevieve who's just appeared, the technician. Do you know the answer? No problem. Do you know the answer to the question? How many threads, how many knots are you making these people tie? These poor, tired
I
people.
some of them too, but it's 1,728 knots.
1,728 knots. So is that how many threads wide this machine is?
Yes.
Wow.
About 42 inches. And all these threads are controllable independently. So that's why the Jacquard loom allows for like infinite amount of designs and structures.
Wow.
And how do you design these textiles, these fabrics? How do you get them from your mind to become a physical object?
I'm going to repeat it just in case if the audio is not working very well. But how do you design these textiles?
Well, we have two stations. We have a software that's called Point Carré. So basically it's pixel based. So we work with Photoshop also. So you work your image, and then in the other software, which is specialized, you will decide what color and how the threads will align, right? So they'll also call structures. So you will assign structures to each color in your design. But it's not only like an image that you can do. We've seen like multiple layered textile. We've seen like the addition of electronics and textiles. So it's like a different, and we had workshops, different workshops with people that we would invite, like Louise Lemieux-Bérubé, to give us like, to share her knowledge with us. And we had at some point a 6-color rotation warp. So every pixel you could choose from different colors. So we get that those opportunities, right, to work with different specialists.
Are members able to bring their own designs and perhaps try to replicate something like that on the loom?
Yeah, I mean, you have to have a basic knowledge of weaving, because the software really asks for, like, if you don't understand weaving, you can't really work with it. I give really basic workshops, but if you want to make this your thesis, like I did mine was in Jacquard weaving, but using the Jacquard loom. What I did is I studied old textiles from France, and I tried to make the technique at the time like possible on this loom. So a bit like tapestry, like you can see the character there. That was like, that's a mini version of one of my big pieces.
Wow.
So, and that's a very different technique than the black and white pictures that you can see, right? So yes, you can, but it's nice to take a course, but I'm here to support all that work. Amazing. And when you weave, part of your cluster member ways that we can get involved is to become one of my elves and tie the knots and help with the change of the work. And then we decide the color like together. Like we had a white work and we're switching for a black one because it allows for different contrast and different quality in the image.
cool. I'm looking at this machine and it's thinking of, the future and stuff, but it's still very handwork. It looks like it takes a lot of work to do it. It's not like you just feed in an image and it's not like a Xerox machine where you're going to get a color
you still have
piece
to
out of
work,
it.
you still have to use the shuttles. For my work, for example, I have like all these little small shuttles that I had to follow the pattern. So yeah, people think that the jacquard will weave by itself. They have jacquards which weave by themselves in industry, but ours is still like, and that's the pleasure of it, right? It's like it's where you get into the zone and you weave and you forget about everything else. And we have a great view too, which turns amazing at night. So yeah, so that's so when you have to work, you come here. Once you are trained, you can come and weave whenever you want.
That's wonderful. Yeah, I see you both are really focused. That's really disturbing.
Don't, because we'll make mistakes.
And what happens if you make a mistake? Is it really hard to solve it?
Oh, it depends how long ago it was made. If it was like 2 minutes ago, it's okay, but it was the day before.
If it goes unnoticed for a long time, it becomes much more problematic, I would think.
Yeah.
Hey, I've heard rumors that the Tajima is next door. We should go have a look at that machine.
Oh, yeah. Okay,
The
Jen,
much fabled Tajima embroidery
can you
machine.
take us there?
I've heard stories of satellite communication.
I know all the rumors you've been hearing.
I hear
They're
lots
like
of rumors. I don't know where they
literally
come
so
from.
insightful. Wow.
I keep hearing things. I don't know how.
This is wonderful. What is this? Okay, what's happening here?
This is our Tajima embroidery and laying machine. This was obtained through a CFI grant, and the researcher, whose name is Barbara Lane. And her work was mostly like wearables and electronics, like intelligent textiles. So what we can do with this machine, apart from like amazing embroideries, because we have 12 heads and a great surface, is also that we have this head here that's called a laying head. So I can show you what it does. In this spool, I have conductive thread. And if I start it, I'm going to stop it to talk because it's quite loud.
Wow, wait, I want to show this.
Yeah.
This is the input. But Jen, so this is not all happening automatically, right? You need to code input everything, right?
Yeah, but what's great here is that if you're thinking of making wearables or you're thinking about anything like technology on fabric, this is really a great tool. We made connectors, capacitors, antennas, and all the wiring in the wearables. So that's what's really nice about it. But here, compared to the jacquard room where it's pixel-based, vector-based, we work with Illustrator and a software that you have to design in, and you decide what color and what stitches and what you want to do. Again, I give a lot of workshops and Trisha, who's here, who's coming to finish her patch.
Yeah.
This morning.
Hi. Do you want to introduce yourself?
Sure. I'm Trisha on the spot.
Yeah.
I'm a design and computational arts student, master's student. I like to play in TNM a lot. Like I've got to learn how to use the embroidery machine. I've got to do like conductive embroidery, create like pressure sensors. I've combined it with paper making, which is what I do in my research, using paper making and debris. Up it. Yeah. So that's been super cool and interesting and a huge learning.
I remember we made a circuit on a dissolvable.
Yeah,
fabric,
we did.
and
Yeah.
you were able to put it in your paper.
Yeah,
right?
so I put it in the paper and then connected it to like power source and stuff after.
Yeah, because we have different materials and substrate to work on. And that one was a dissolvable one, so it allowed for textiles to completely disappear. Right. Oh, and I was just showing, maybe I could show you a piece.
Yeah, sure.
So you see how it looks on
It's
the
kind of
computer.
scandalous, but no. It's like secretly scandalous.
Yeah.
The long
So this is part of one of the workshops, the basic workshop that you can take when you want to learn how to use the machine. The first workshop is more like drawing with lines, like and stitches. And this one is we make a patch and we learn how to fill in the spaces with stitches and different types of fills. So that's what we do, step by step. And once you've done these 2 workshops, you can also learn how to make a small circuit and switch.
Wow.
So then we learn how to use this side of the machine. Yeah, so this is just a drawing that I made from Tibetan textile. Because as a research assistant, I was able to go and study textiles from around the world that have metal in them. Yeah, so
Metal? Textiles with metal.
Yeah, so we went to the British Museum, the V&A, the Textile Museum in Toronto, and we studied different textile, and I was able to learn more of the stitches so I could understand better, like by looking at ancient textile and how they were made and learning these techniques. I'm better able to work on this machine and I can help with projects, ideation, things like that.
That's wonderful, Jen. Okay, and last question. When are you working at Milieux? Because I heard you're here since the beginning.
Oh yeah, I was here before the beginning. No, I've been here since 2016. No, 15, 16.
We started in 2015 before we were called Milieux, and we were just the Concordia Institute for Digital Arts, Cultures, Technologies
So I took
for the first
care of
couple of
this
months.
beauty, which I learned to use when I was working as a research assistant. Yeah. And do you want to talk about the antenna?
For
I think
sure.
we should talk about your antenna, but I'm just looking at this machine and it's all very strange. It's massive and it's a huge beam of metal. However, did you get it in the building?
Oh yeah.
I'm just going to stop that humming of it. They got it through this beautiful windows there.
Wow.
Yeah. One day I walked in, I was working on the jacquard and there were 3 person harnesses and they were hooked somewhere and the window was open. It was in February. It was cold in here and had a huge crane blocking St. Catherine's Street and they just lifted it and took it into the room.
Wow.
So February here can mean -30. So let's picture that.
There's this hook on the ceiling that's like traces of that moment. I don't know if you can see it, but they just pulled it.
Oh yeah. Oh my God.
It was really cool moment. There were boxes everywhere. It was yeah.
That sounds pretty amazing,
I
Jen.
mean, I left the screen here, but we also have a tiny one, right? You have a baby.
Oh, this is a baby
machine. A baby, but if you had that at home,
and this comes with the machine.
Iron, the basic iron and the super duper iron. So we have everything for textiles. And this one you can use like you need just a 3-hour workshop, and then you can come over the weekend and use it.
Okay.
It's
So
much
members
easier
can
to use.
access to these machines.
Yeah, much easier than the big ones.
So what am I looking at here, Jen? What is this funky retro 60s pattern thing going on here?
This is called
Beautiful design project.
This is a double area antenna, but you're seeing only one side of it.
An antenna?
Yeah, it's an antenna. It was made, well, I made it from designs from Tassin Mustafa. He was PhD at the time, now he's a student, now he's graduated. And his research was to try to transform a ceramic antenna, parabolic antenna, which are made out of ceramic, and they're heavy and hence breakable too. So he wanted to turn them into textiles. So we looked at his research, and what's great here is also that we do work with engineers, right? So we had to learn how to talk to each other and make it work. And yeah, so in this piece there's like about 30 different sizes of squares.
Yes.
And what he gave me, I think it's this one, was something like this I had to work with, and basically this, where he told me what the dimension of each square was. So 15 millimeters, 24.5, 19.7, and I had to be the most precise, like as precise as possible. And the other side was covered, as you can see here, with these little cells on the back. So different tests. It looks simple when you think about it, but it's not to make it, because this machine, like, there was too many comments, so I had to make a lot of tests. And my engineer came to me and says, "Why are you making like copies of copies?" And I was like, "They're not copies. There's different tests and different fabrics and different things." So yeah, it was a whole process of learning how to speak his language and him to understand the difficulties of translating something into textiles. Like, he thought I would just take his USB stick and put it in the machine, and the machine would do it by itself. But when you work here, you start playing with this, you understand that it's not that easy. There's like 2 steps, even 2 software before you get to the machine. So
wow, Jen, this is all wonderful. Really.
Yeah. I mean, and we had events like over there. We had people from the community come and do embroidery.
This was done by people from the community.
Yeah. So they would come in, and I'd say, just doodle something, and I'll embroider it. We'll make a piece. It's not finished, but these are finished, but not the edges. But and they would keep one, and we would keep one.
Oh yeah, from the Bauhaus events that we
yeah.
hosted at Milieux months back, years ago. Wow.
Wow, before the
A bit of a
pandemic.
blank there.
Everyone can have a try, right? It's
Do you remember which one's mine?
I remember which one is yours. It's this one. That was Anna.
Mark, you're talented, Mark.
I was a 4-year-old child that came in with her mother.
Oh, that's so adorable.
Yeah.
Wow, this is great.
Yeah. So yeah, we have quite a lot of fun here, right?
Mm-hmm.
It seems so. So thank you, Jen. I think we have to go to the next location, which is the Milieux BioLab.
We're off to the BioLab, are we?
Yes. And
My goodness.
but I'm glad you did this tour. This is amazing. Thank you.
I'll see you soon.
Bye. Bye.
Well then.
That was great. So where's the BioLab?
I don't remember, do you?
I don't remember. Again,
Down the hall,
Video
this
Resource
way,
Box.
to the BioLab, down the.
Down the hallway towards the lab. We're heading to the
Ready.
BioLab.
We're just going to the BioLab.
This is one of the coolest labs. Well, like I love textiles and materiality, but the BioLab is amazing.
There's some really fun stuff that goes on there. We're gonna get, this is a preview of what we're gonna see in the BioLab, or so I hear.
This is a preview.
Yeah.
Wow.
Stuff.
Okay. Okay.
Ooh, white walls. That's exciting on a video.
Okay, right here. Okay, right here.
Oh my goodness.
Hello.
Goodness. I think we're at the BioLab.
Hello. How are you? Yeah, we are fine. Wow. Wow. Okay, so hi, how are you? So Alex, do you want to introduce yourself and maybe tell me a little bit about this wonderful space? I'm the technician. We have a whole bunch of stuff today. Okay. Yes.
And so right now we're just getting this camera all set up. We can look at some algae and mildew.
Wow. Great. Okay, so in the meantime, I'm gonna just introduce Jackie. Hi. No, yeah, you can introduce yourself. Are you a student?
Hi, I'm Jackie. I'm Jackie Beaumont. I am at the moment I'm in the Institute. I did my undergrad here, and I've been a researcher at BioLab for 2 or 3 years now. And yeah, let's talk louder. Keep talking.
You need to talk louder.
Okay.
Jackie, so you were
The pickup's really bad.
undergraduate fellow of the Milieux, right?
Yes, I was. Yeah, I was in. What year was that?
Last year.
Oh,
It
okay.
seems like ages ago,
Yeah,
I know.
it does. But yeah, so that kind of mobilized some work here, and now it's going to continue for the next few years. So that'll be exciting.
So you're doing your master's now?
I will be next year.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, congrats. Okay.
So Jackie, can I ask, what am I looking at here? I keep seeing all of this wacky stuff. These colors are amazing, and these patterns are just insane. What is this?
What is this exactly?
Yeah,
What's
so,
phenomenal?
where to start? So these are all, well, most of these are bioplastic samples that Alex has been working on.
Oh, Alex,
I feel like
you worked on
my
these as well?
Fantastic.
Fantastic.
Yeah, these are Alex's samples actually.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
I searched the wrong
Take
side.
it away.
Take it away.
Alex, what can you tell me about these samples I'm looking at? What is this? What is this color from? What is this made out of?
This color is actually from the butterfly pea flower, and we're about to
Sorry,
start
from the what?
the butterfly pea flower. So
Okay, so I need to ask, what is it? What are butterflies that have to do with this?
in fact, it's
Oh my gosh, it's a flower.
Don't worry, there are
I thought you drowned up butterflies.
No butterflies were harmed in the making of these bioplastics.
Fantastic. Glad to hear it.
Yeah, and so we made a gelatin-based bioplastic here, colored with butterfly pea flower. And these samples were all exploring different smocking techniques and how bioplastics could be used in costumes, in garments, and perhaps other uses.
They
yet
look
to be
amazing.
determined.
I love this pattern you've achieved here. It looks really very beautiful.
And using the smocking technique,
Oh.
we're exploring different ways of trying to be able to add stretch and flexibility to an otherwise rather solid material. So
That's amazing. Wow.
just hope we can get it off.
Seriously. Wow. And so what are some of the other colors I'm seeing here? What's that dark reddish color material over there? Oh, is that one of the botanicals that we've seen in the?
In fact, there is some overlap. You might have seen some amaranth hanging in the match lab.
I did. I don't know if we caught that on camera for everyone to see, but I certainly saw it.
Wow.
Amazing.
So, and there were just some little lavender flowers in there. Some as a harder bioplastic. So there are lavender flowers in there. Yeah, I said just these little guys, and they were dyed with amaranth. Oh wow! Oh, here's I guess some more overlap with one of the other clusters. It's a little bit oxidized now, but the circuitry was actually done on the Tajima machine. And then
Oh, that was the
inserted in-
machine we just saw with Genevieve in Textiles.
Oh yeah. So you
Amazing.
did that in the machine. And after, what you did after?
We put it into a tray and I poured some bioplastic on top of it, just trying to see how to possibly integrate electronics into biomaterials. So
Amazing. And you've got snaps in there, so you can use that for the connections.
exactly. So then you
Did-
can add a circuit board, microcontroller. of sorts.
Wow. You know, I don't want to put Alex on the spot here, but just so that you know, when we were in the textiles cluster, I believe that she constructed that garment we were looking at with the Velcro, the bodysuit score one. That was you who worked on that, wasn't that?
So you did the
Amazing.
bodysuit that we filmed, and we were both amazed by it, like trying to remove pieces and.
Yes, that was
Super cool.
touching on the
Super
importance
cool.
of modularity when
That
designing
was
electronic
fantastic.
garments. So.
Absolutely stunning.
That's amazing, Alex. So you work here at the BioLab.
I do, yes, I'm the technician.
You're the technician of the
Yes.
BioLab.
the mice.
And I heard rumors because we've been hearing rumors. That
What
you're
rumors?
you're here since Milieu started.
Oh, not quite. No. That was Jen who has been here since Milieux.
No,
You've been
well,
around as a student.
No, but
For
she's
sure.
been around for like 4 years or so.
I have been around for a very long time. Yes, including perhaps at the beginning days of Milieux.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Been hanging out in this lab for a long time. Hey, what do I see going on the counter over here? Can you tell me a bit about what this is?
So here, as you can see up on this table, we are growing some serratia bacteria on a silk scarf.
I suppose I could have just read the label, couldn't
Perhaps
I?
you could, but
Fantastic.
what would the fun in that be?
Can you just repeat that?
Of course, I'm sure it could. So we're in this particular little pot, there is a silk scarf that is currently being dyed with serratia bacteria. And it was only set up maybe about 12 hours ago, so you can already see that there's some little pink spots because this particular bacteria produces kind of a pink or red color as a byproduct of its metabolic processes.
Fantastic. So you started this after yesterday after we spoke, so like at 8 o'clock at night?
Probably about
This
8
is 12. Wow.
This was probably about 8 p.m.
That's amazing. I thought it would take at least 48 hours to get
Yeah.
something really visible. That's beautiful.
I think one of the cultures using it was very powerful. So
Well, it looks amazing.
producing
That's-
pigment already.
It looks wonderful, indeed. And so this is basically the same process of the scarf we saw outside exhibited.
Absolutely. So
Yeah.
this is
So
kind of the making of.
it gives like a really strong pink. It's amazing.
Super strong pink. And it also can dye synthetic fabric and synthetic material, which can sometimes be really challenging to dye in other techniques. So
Well, that's wonderful. Alex or Jackie, maybe you want to tell us about like how could you get involved in the BioLab? Like, are you members of a cluster, or do you have to do a training, or how can you, if you're interested in the BioLab, what do you do as a student?
Well, I mean, one easy way to get involved, we often do workshops in the semester, so that can be a way for you to get kind of a taste of what happens in the lab. And if it ends up being something that you're excited about, you can send me an email. And there's a couple trainings through EHS that you can do, but contact me and the director, and we can get you going if you're a student.
That's fantastic, Alex. I just have one quick question. I couldn't help but notice as we were discussing the serratia and seeing this beautiful pink color, some pink going on there. What is Gisela wearing?
Gisela. Well, so Gisela in the corner over here.
Oh wait, that's not Gisela. This is
Gisela, but
oh my
Gisela's
goodness.
friend.
What is this? Did you dye this?
This, in fact, was dyed with serratia as well. This
So this
nice
is-
little
Wow.
evening gown.
Wow.
Scandalous.
This is wonderful.
Fantastic. And this. Oh, this looks a little bit, it's dry in here today, isn't it?
Winter time in Montreal, the air is dry. You know, these materials are very affected by weather changes, temperature changes. This was a skirt. This project is called Gucci, and it's in fact made of.
It was called Bucci.
It's called Gucci.
Wow.
Made. Oh, good. Made of kombucha cellulose.
Fantastic.
Well,
wow.
Tail and white feather were behind the making of this.
Right. Oh, I remember that now. Yeah, that was awesome.
So you said that the material changes with the season. So in summer it may be a little bit softer.
It might soften a little bit, but it's many years old at this point. So I think it just could kind of darken over time, and the temperature changes. The winter has dried it out. But
Super cool.
Wow, that's wonderful. Thank you for welcoming us here. I love this space. Mark, I love your apron.
My apron.
Milieu's apron.
It's my lab coat.
which is very decked
It's
out
been
in patches.
soiled slightly.
Slightly soiled, but with patches made on the Tajima machine. So there's again beautiful overlap between
It is.
clusters.
Fantastic.
Okay,
Well,
we go
should-
to the next location.
Perfect. Yes,
Thank you.
let's. Thank you so much.
You're wonderful. Thank
Thank you both. I appreciate it.
Okay, Mark, where are we going?
I don't remember. Where are we? Oh,
Yeah, well, let's see. So we are going to the Milieu Immersive Reality Lab. Ooh, that's exciting. To the VR lab.
The VR lab.
Yeah.
Are we going upstairs at some point to talk to Bart again?
Yeah, let's go. Let's go before the
Should we
VR
do
lab.
that before the
Yeah, of course.
Well, thank you
Bye.
both very
This,
much.
this is a live, so we're improv a little bit. Bye. Okay, good.
So are we now heading back upstairs to see Bart from the Nerve Center?
Yeah, so Bart is our director and Bart Simon, and we're gonna go to the Nerve Center. We call the Nerve Center the main space in Milieu. It's the common space. So you can come if you're a student and work from there with us.
We're gonna go upstairs.
We're
see
gonna
if
go
I-
upstairs.
See if we can get a lot of feedback on these phones and devices.
Yes.
And break the whole system. And we'll find out, things are still working okay.
Exactly.
This has been a little problematic all the way through. There's people sneaking about the
We
halls,
did.
hiding from the cameras.
Hello, this is back end. Amazing. Okay.
So are we taking a minute here? The walls here. This is our membership wall here.
Hello. Hello, Bart. Hello, Harry.
Get an idea of everyone involved with Milieu. We invited everyone to come sign their names on the wall and associate themselves with the cluster that they work with the most, that they feel the most involved with, or to place themselves in between the different clusters that they work with.
It's wonderful, and we have today a little bit of coffee and snacks for members to come. Stay with us.
This is our little research, sort of researcher nook, where you can see all the different publications that we have on hand from the different researchers here at Milieu we've had over the years. And always on the counter, all the events that are coming up that are all laid out as well. Anyway, if everything's going on all right over here, I guess we are heading down to
The VR lab.
the
Let's go to
VR
visit
lab.
Marco
Let's go down to
now.
post image.
Yes. Bye.
Bye. That was Harry. Harry
Yeah.
Smoke.
It was really chatty.
Very chatty, very chatty. Everyone's very focused on the ball. So yeah,
Okay, so where are we heading again?
I don't remember the immersive realities lab.
The Immersive Reality Lab, it's part of the post-image.
The post-image
cluster. And
research cluster, yes.
And we're gonna be by Marco Luna, the technician
Oh.
coordinator of the Immersive Reality Lab.
Fantastic.
Yeah. And they're doing cool stuff.
We keep getting drawn again to this
No,
R&D.
no,
It's
no.
madness.
Okay. Okay. How do you like so far? How do you like
so far? All our spaces, they're wonderful.
Oh, it's fantastic. It's all new to me. I've never
I bet.
seen any of these spaces before,
I bet.
So it's
I
a
bet.
real treat for me.
Okay. So here we are.
It's an eternal
Here
joy.
we are.
It feels like he's trapped in cyberspace.
Oh my God.
Something is going on here. What is it?
Here is here, but not here at the same time. It's here, but not here at the same time.
Where is he? I see my reflection, but I also see what Marco sees.
Hello. Are you there, Marco?
I'm here. Here you go.
Hi. Nice to see you.
Nice to see you.
What were you doing?
I was actually testing one of the latest, well, not latest, one project is called here in America. It's actually a project done on on quill. Then I'm going to do a 3D painting around the space, and then they put art on it. It's pretty beautiful, actually.
Wow, that's wonderful. And Marco,
Yes.
can you tell us a little bit about the lab and about the work you do here at Milieu?
Of course. Okay, so this is the it's the immersive reality lab. It's a space, a cross-cluster space designed for faculty and students to come and explore, experiment with VR and immersive reality projects. My role here is to mentor projects, help them to understand the technology, and depending on the type of art that anyone is bringing here, I'll show them different workflows. So the idea here is that you don't need to know how to code, you need to be a coder or a modeler in order to start exploring immersive environments. If you're coming from photography, from sculpture, from cinema, I'll show you workflows that are more linked to your area of expertise. Therefore, you're not kind of you need still to develop new skills, but you're not going far from what you're doing already as part of your art. That's the idea of this space.
So we have students coming to this space from across disciplines.
Yes. So the idea here is that, and we need that. It's just a canvas, and you can do multiple types of projects on this using this technology. So it's really open to different practices.
Wow, and can you show us a little bit, maybe Mark, do you want to try? Okay.
I don't think that's a good idea. I get very dizzy in virtual reality.
Oh yeah, that happens. Okay, can you show us a little bit so we can film? What?
Of course, I can show you here. Let me just try here. I was actually looking at a couple of projects. I can show you one. So I can show you one that was one of the first projects that was when the first VR headsets were shipped. Let me see here if it's opening. And space, and there we go. So what I'm going to do is works. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to just open a project that's called the Web Content. And this was one of the first projects that was shipped with the HTC Vive, one of the first headset that was commercially available, Oculus and HTC Vive. So I'm under the sea. And the idea here is that the concept when these headsets were shipped was that now what you have is this concept of perspective and environmental storytelling. You are in a space and you are basically looking at a scene, not much happening, and and you're just immersed on the proportions and the idea of making, in this case, this character here, which is a whale. So now what I'm seeing right now is an actual real size whale.
So you're meeting a whale.
I'm meeting a whale right now. Exactly. So I'm meeting a whale right now. Just looking at me.
Can you touch it or something?
I cannot touch it because it's a little far from where I'm standing. But just looking at the eye, it's already amazing. And this was a concept that we were saying back then when the first headset was released, is that the scale, the possibilities of being in a different world. I mean, I will never be an associate chief looking at movie. I saw so yeah, so this is sort of one of the experiences I like to show to my students when they come here, just to understand the concept of just environmental storytelling and how just the scale and being immersed in a different world can start bringing some elements can affect your sense of narrative, and how can we build narrative just based on those two elements, space and scale.
That's wonderful. Cool. So Marco, so you said everyone can come to the lab who's interested in XR. Yeah. And you, as you're mentioning, you work everything from like storytelling to narrative creation to how to technically build.
Yes. We will. It adapt. The idea of this lab is also it adapts depending on the type of project someone wants to develop. So the idea here is that I can show you. I can, if you want just to explore what is VR, not necessarily your project, you can come and watch projects. And we have created a library of interesting VR projects that go from the range from a VR games up to a kind of artistic or more experimental projects. If you want to develop a VR project, but you don't know exactly how to handle it, I will do some workshops on VR creation. So first workshops on, you don't need to know how to code, you just come and from zero, I'm going to show you how to do quick prototyping. And then if you want to pursue further development, I'll match you up with other students or faculties that are developing specifically the techniques or using the technology that you are looking for in your project. But the idea here is that the space is open to different types of exploration.
That's wonderful, Marco. Thank you so much. So we're heading to the next location.
I think we're heading up to Indigenous Futures next, right?
Yeah, I'm really excited because we're gonna go to Indigenous Futures, and they also do a lot of things that are like related to what we've seen here. So thank you, Marco.
Oh, thank you guys.
Thank you so much.
Bye. Oh, wait. Hi.
Can we interrupt you for a quick second?
Sure.
To
Can
say
we just
hello?
film your amazing work?
So I'm cutting a print that was done on our solvent printer.
Oh, wow.
And the media, it's adhesive vinyl. So that means that it's ready, like it's ready to put on a wall without needing to be framed.
Fantastic.
So
So you
you
printed this
printed
here at the post image cluster.
Yes, yeah. So
Amazing.
we have a few
Wow.
large scale printers, and it just depends on what media you want to print on and what type of presentation you want to make, and yeah, we can do that.
Wow, that looks phenomenal. It's
Yeah,
really
that's
beautiful.
amazing.
Thank you so much. Gosh, this just gives you an example of some of the printing facilities here in the post-image research cluster. The large-scale inkjet printer and the solvent printer that was just mentioned. Fantastic. Shall we head upstairs to the Indigenous Futures cluster?
Yeah, let's go.
Let's try this door.
Okay.
Let's see where it leads.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Wow. Okay, this is wonderful. I'm really excited about Indigenous Futures.
Me too. I feel like we're leaving through a dark tunnel here.
Yes. Yes.
This is all the different workstations, I think, where they prepare the images.
Wow. Okay. Wow. This is really
Amazing
weird.
how we
Again.
keep, it's like these orange chairs are like the center of the universe here at Milieu. Every time we come by, we're drawn back to them.
Yeah, we can come.
It's amazing. And yet, still not playing video games.
Okay. Let's head to Indigenous Futures, which is in the 11th floor. Now we 11th floor. Now we
Back up the stairs.
Yeah, we're in the
I feel like we went
10th floor.
upstairs to look at that wall at the wrong time all of a sudden. Still,
Okay,
the exercise is good for
again,
us.
This is good. Exercise.
We're looking at the sign again?
Yes.
Awesome.
All right. So. Yes. Okay.
Before we head over to Indigenous, so before we head over to Indigenous Futures, Ariana, I think we should have a look.
Okay. Oh, okay.
As Bart said,
Oh, okay, so
the view out front, so you can get an idea. And so this weekend, of course, with Gamerella taking over the space, this is the view that they have here, of course. So you can get an idea.
It's a game jam happening this weekend. And this is a terrace. We are privileged to have this view. It's an amazing view.
Fantastic. It looks amazing. This is going to be lovely when it's all set up finally for this event.
Yeah. Okay, so should we go to Indigenous Futures?
Yes, let's.
Wow, they're expecting us. Wow, they're expecting us.
Fantastic.
Hi.
Hello, Hans. How are you? We're live. It's a live stream and we're live. Oh my goodness, it got bright in here, Hans.
Look at us for our viewers. Like and follow, don't close me. Welcome to Indigenous Futures. formerly the Indigenous Futures Research Cluster, now formerly the Indigenous Futures Research Center. I'll just give you a quick rundown of who we are and what we do, and I'll introduce the folks here in our space.
Fantastic.
But yeah, the Indigenous Futures Research Center at its core is interested in supporting research by and for Indigenous researchers, for Indigenous peoples and communities. We have two different Canada research grants. Sorry, two different short grants. The Inuit Futures and Arts Leadership and the Indigenous Futures, the Initiative for Indigenous Futures. Right now, we are in the Aboriginal Territories in Cyberspace Lab. I didn't introduce myself, did I?
No.
I forgot. I'm so sorry.
We've called you Hans like 3 times, but
Well,
yes,
there you
do
go.
tell us more. Tell us more.
Yeah, my name is Hans. I am the research coordinator here for the IFRC. I'm a master's student in art history here at Concordia. I'm from Cusco, Peru, and I'm a settler here in Jojage, which is also known as Minyang or Montreal.
Fantastic.
So yeah, like I was saying, we are in the Aboriginal Territories in Cyberspace Lab, also known as ABTEC. And ABTEC conducts the Initiative for Indigenous Futures. And we're so fortunate to have Sexuality here. Sexuality is the co-director of ABTEC, co-founder of ABTEC, and co-directs So take it away, Sexuality.
Hi, Sexuality.
Hello everyone in Viewerland, whichever one you
Here, we have the mic, so yeah.
I'm Skawanati. I am Ganyange Haga from Daknawage, which is an Indian reservation not very far from Jojage. And yes, I'm the co-director of Aboriginal Territories in Cyberspace. And our aim is to ensure the presence of Indigenous people in cyberspace, which means video games, the World Wide Web, VR, and all the things that are happening, all the places we now go without our physical bodies.
That's wonderful. And what's all this in the wall? This is your work, or
these hunters? These posters represent
Take two.
These posters represent some of our projects. These projects are by the co-director of ABTEC and what is his title? Jason Edward Lewis is a professor at Concordia, and he is what of the IR? Yes,
he's the co-director of the IFRC Canada Research Chair in Computational Media and the Indigenous Future Imaginary.
And so these are some of his early projects: Writing Complex, Mr. Softy, and Poem. He's a poet as well as a technologist. And then over here are some of the more recent projects. So AdTech, which I've just told you about, the Initiative for Indigenous Futures, and then Time Traveler is a bit of an older project now. It's a machinima that I made under the auspices of AdTech and with their support and co-production help. And Skins is a really big project that we have, which is our Skins workshops for Indigenous storytelling and video game design or experimental digital media. We teach Indigenous youth how to make video games, how to make machinima, how to do there's a number of smaller and larger workshops that we hope is encouraging them to be producers, not just consumers of video games and related technologies.
That's amazing, Sexuality. Thank you. And what do you have here? What's going on?
Well, we're making a brand new machinima called Words Before All Else. So in this image here, you see my avatar XOX. In Words Before All Else is another name for the Ahondu Gardiwekwa, or the Iroquois Thanksgiving Address. And so in that Thanksgiving address, we give thanks to all the natural world, starting with Mother Earth and going through, the plants, the animals, to the moon and sun, stars. There's 18 verses. I wondered what it would mean for an avatar to give thanks in an unnatural world in cyberspace. And so we're doing that. She recites the Thanksgiving address in Ganyangeha as well as Francais and English. And so in this scene, she's giving thanks for the moon, our grandmother moon, en Francais. Yeah, and Kaylee over here is helping me. I'm so lucky to have amazing students, Concordia students, helping me in these productions, or else they would not get done and they would not look as awesome as they do. Kaylee, do you want to introduce yourself?
Sure. My name is Kaylee Lightning. I'm a research assistant here. I am on the machinima team, as Sexuality said, and I'm also on the skins team, delivering workshops and talks. I'm mixed Irish and Cree from Saskatchewan Nation in Mesquite, Alberta, but I grew up in Ontario. Yeah, I'm in my second year of my master's here at Concordia.
Yeah, she has a presentation that she just did for a bunch of students that I think would be nice this time. She could give to you, yeah?
Yeah, of course. I'll just talk a little bit about it. Yeah, I have an indie game studio with my sister Kira. It's called Studio Episode. And yeah, we just released the brand new demo of our game One, which is a visual novel about people rebuilding their relationships with themselves and each other in community in the aftermath of decolonization. Yeah, it's a post-colonial fantasy world. Yeah.
Fantastic.
Wow.
That's great. Wow.
Is this what's going on here?
Yeah, so I'm playing as XOX, which is Scalinetti's avatar.
Yeah.
While Scalinetti does the filming, I play as the avatar and do the lip sync.
That's wonderful. So you've been a member of Indigenous Future since 2 years ago?
Yes, yeah, I've been here a year and a couple months.
And how's that changed your experience as a graduate student?
It's been amazing just being able to work in an environment that encourages creativity and working on our personal projects as well. And yeah, it's been a really great time. Yeah.
That's wonderful. Thank you so much. All right. Thank you so much.
You're
for
welcome.
this.
You're welcome. It's a pleasure having you.
It's amazing. Maybe one last question to Hans or Sexuality. What happens if students want to get involved with Indigenous Futures? How can they get in contact with you and express interest?
Yeah, they can check out our website to learn more about us. So that's ifrc.ca. If they're interested in AppTech's work, I believe it's apptech.org, or Inuit Futures at inuitfutures.ca. Find us on Instagram, or email us. If they're brave enough, come up to the 11th floor and stop by and say hello. We're always happy to see you.
Fantastic. Thank you so much.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you so much. Sexuality.
You've been
Thank you.
wonderful. Thank
It's been
you.
great.
Bye.
So
Oh, I
good.
love
So
this
good to meet you.
space. This is so amazing. It's a great atmosphere here.
It's beautiful. So where are we heading to next? There's
So now, basically, we are heading to the Milieux MakerSpace.
down to the makerspace, back down the stairs. Goodness me.
We're just touring the whole 10th and 11th floor, the EV building at Concordia.
Fantastic.
So let's go.
Yes.
Okay, so what's happening at the makerspace? What are we gonna see?
Is it the solar? I'm not sure. Who are we? Solar group? I'm not sure. Who are we going to go see there?
We're gonna see the makerspace.
Yes. Well, no, I assume so. At least part of the solar group as well.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, for
Aren't
sure.
they?
Yeah. Now we're just heading to the makerspace to get a general overview of the space.
Fantastic.
Okay, so we are back here for you to know.
Look, Lee's in the hallway.
Wow. Are you expecting us, Lee? Were you expecting us?
Oh my goodness. It's Lee. Thank goodness Lee just happens to be here right now.
Hello.
Thank you so much.
Welcome.
Haneen has arrived as well.
Yeah. What a coincidence. Good morning. Haneen is also our social media. Hello. All right. So Lee. All right. How are you? How are you? Can you introduce yourself and tell us a bit about
My name is Lee. I'm various things around here, and including running programming in the makerspace. So this is a space for a lot of maker education and a lot of prototyping and exploration. So there's a bunch of tools for rapid prototyping and for taking things apart and for exploring things and making new things. So we have some 3D printers here. printers here. This is a fully 3D printed dragon, which is pretty cool. That was printed on the printers here.
This is really cool.
There are a whole bunch of really cool 3D printed samples. These are 3D printed textiles. So they're very flexible, made out of a bunch of individual pieces that are hooked together. This is a 3D print that is printed onto a textile itself. So you print like one layer and then put a textile on it, and then you're able to sandwich the two layers between it. So you can create a super flexible, customizable 3D printed fabric.
Wow. This is one. Can I touch it?
Yeah.
This is wonderful. So you've been for this, you did this here, or you've been collaborating with Textiles and Materiality cluster?
I didn't do these. These are, I think a lot of these are open source designs for 3D printed textiles that people working here have experimented
A lot of
with.
these samples were printed here from the Education Makers group that's directed by Anne-Louise Davidson, who's the director of the Makerspace as well.
That's wonderful. And what's going on there?
These are soldering stations, so they're for electronics, for putting together circuits and making them more permanent. So this is like an air system, and we have like magnifying light systems so that you can make really tiny electronics. And then we just have a bunch of hand tools, electronics tools, more soldering stations. And we're setting up right now for a disassemble-a-thon. So we've got some cool garbage to take apart and see how it works and try to fix it. I'm gonna try and fix my cat feeder. And this is a answering machine I found that I'm gonna take apart and see how it works. They're cool electromechanical devices.
Wow.
Does it run with cassettes inside?
It sure does.
Does that flip up to reveal the cassettes there?
Yeah. Yes.
Oh wow.
Yeah, brought some cassettes. So maybe we'll learn stuff about cassettes.
Is that an actual answering machine message to expose on there?
It is. Yeah.
Do you know who this is?
I found it in the garbage, but I did disassemble and already listened to the message.
Oh.
Is it interesting? Is it riveting? Is it scandalous? Is it salacious?
Unfortunately, no.
Oh, no.
I'm deeply saddened to hear it.
Yeah. I had extremely high hopes. I like fixed the cable on it, and I was like really excited to hear what was on this tape. But it was
It's a very sort of 1980s, like, police mystery kind of like Miami Vice vibe to find.
I was really hoping there to be like a murder mystery, but it was like, call us back.
Okay, you tell me about a little bit about you. You're part of the Milieux staff. So what do you do at Milieux?
Yeah, I teach workshops, help people with their projects, a little bit of everything.
And do you like it? How does change your credit experience?
Oh, it's so much fun. There's all kinds of people with really interesting ideas who like need help making this happen, or people who like want to use technical applications in their art, not sure how to get there. So I really love helping people figure that stuff out.
That's wonderful. Okay, Tatiana. Hi. Okay, so I will be heading to LeParc, the Performing Arts Cluster, and then we'll be back for a solar media talk and demonstration. So yes, thank you so much, Lee. Thank you. This is a wonderful space.
See you soon.
And see you soon.
Shall we?
Shall we? Bye.
Bye.
Okay, so we are again in the hallway. We are now going to the park.
Yes, we are going to LeParc.
So that's one of the park, the Performing Arts Research
Performing Arts
Cluster.
Research Cluster,
We're
yes.
going to have a bunch of students doing work.
Are we at the right time for that? We're not too early.
We may be too early. We may have to improvise a little bit. We may have to visit the machines again. Hey.
I think we might be early.
Yes.
What time were we supposed to be here?
It's 15. Oh yeah, we are a little bit early.
Well, how are we going to entertain ourselves in the meantime?
Well, I don't know. We can talk about our experience at Milieux. We can go back.
I don't think we can spend 15 minutes talking to each other in this hallway right now.
Okay, we can
That
go,
would be a little bit difficult.
we can go back and we can talk about the Solar Media Collective.
Maybe we should go see if
Hannah.
we can do that before
Yeah,
the
of
LeParc
course.
performance
Okay,
coming
we
soon.
are arriving soon.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. So this is happening. We are doing a live. So things like this are happening. We are improv a little bit. We can show our view, our amazing view again.
So we're going to be talking with people from Solar Media soon. This is their display in the vitrine over here. If you can see what I'm looking at.
Yeah.
See all this old, beautiful old, look at that pattern on those old solar cells or those solar arrays. They're absolutely stunning.
So what do we have here, Mark? Is this like a exhibition point?
Yeah, I mean, it's a little difficult to describe all the pieces as they are. You know, only one of Malta's is still sort of sitting there as far as a piece that he created himself right now. And more of this is sort of the experimental modules and looking at older technologies and pieces that are sitting around, the different batteries that are used to capture, or sorry, to house the energy that is captured by the solar cells. So, but you know, if we move along to the, on the side here, we can also see in the vitrine some of the things that have been created from some of the machines and the spaces that we have here. So this is obviously an old 3D printer that was built as part of the education makers research in the
MakerSpace.
In the MakerSpace by Anne Louise's group. And you can see a lot of different samples. There's another fabric sample over here. You can see the sort of education makers logo on there. That piece is just stunning. You can see all the threads in between from this piece that didn't work out the way it was supposed to. There's a lot of research done in sort of replaceable parts for amputees. So for different activities would have different sort of paddle shapes that could be attached to the body. You can also see some work here we didn't actually get to really see in the BioLab. There's some beautiful samples here of work done with mycelium. One of our graduate students from a couple of years ago, Teo Chauvire, who did the MDes program, built these beautiful seats out of mycelium as part of his research in his thesis when he was doing work on the subways. But they were just revamping the whole fleet of subways in Montreal at the time, and he developed that into a workshop. His work as well. You can see over there the lamp that's hanging there. Everyone was invited to build their own lampshade out of mycelium using sort of old disused wine bottles and bubble wrap, and that's what the pattern on that's from. And again, some samples from the BioLab of kombucha cellulose and some serratia printing here as well. This beautiful silk scarf with these prints all over it. And actually early on, back when White Feather Hunter was part of the lab and was the technician before Alex Bachmeier took over, we did this workshop making incubators out of old computer parts. So this computer tower with all the bits exposed and the foil inside and the heating elements, and using old fans, we were able to create these incubators that were perfect for growing sort of mushrooms and all sorts of different things. So really, really fun. Sort of gives you an idea of some of the activities that were here, a bunch of the old workshops that we did years ago before the pandemic that we're slowly kind of bringing back some of them, and obviously I'll constantly developing new ones. But here you get an example of the sort of MilieuxMake workshop series where we did that with the BioLab, doing work with different Petri dish shibori techniques, growing different kinds of bacteria, doing glow-in-the-dark, bioluminescence, beautiful, beautiful stuff there. And of course,
Mark,
going back to the textile cluster, doing stuff with threads. And of course, as you can see here on the Tajima machine that was held in yes.
Yeah, so I was wondering about the workshops, like
Yeah.
our experiential learning part of
Sure.
Milieux, since we've been in Makerspace and Lee's working in organizing workshops, but you're also involved in organizing workshops. So how can students get involved in those workshops or receive information about upcoming workshops for the semester?
Thankfully, we have a wonderful comms officer here at Milieux called Ariana, who puts together a beautiful
newsletter
every week that contains a lot of these events listed in them that you can take part in. And we invite people, we do host a lot of these workshops for Milieux members, but we like to open it outside of our small community as well, so that we can, for outsiders and for people to learn about us and to try new things. So we do have, opportunities for that as well. So the best way to find out about them is through our website at milieu.concordia.ca, or to be on our mailing list and to get beautiful stories told through that medium as well. And social media.
Yeah, social media,
We
exactly.
riddle our social media with stuff.
We're
Full
all
of
over
stuff.
social media right now. We're in Facebook, Twitter, Instagram,
Instagram
LinkedIn,
is on its
Mastodon.
way. Next week, Instagram, I mean, it's technically live now, but next week it'll be well up to date. So
That's wonderful.
yeah.
Okay, so maybe now we can try to head to LeParc.
Do you think, is it time for LeParc? Do we know what time it is?
Should we go outside to a terrace, or should we? The view?
Let's head back over to LeParc and see if there's if we can have a chat with Lucy.
Okay. So Lucy.
Lucy Fandel is the cluster coordinator for the LeParc research group. So
And what's the LeParc research group?
LeParc stands for the Performing Arts Research Cluster. And we're totally early, but thought we'd say hello.
Hi everyone. Yeah, we're early, but maybe we can do like an intro of the space.
Yeah,
or...
maybe start in the commons. Hi everybody, I'm Lucy. I'm the cluster coordinator for the Performing Arts Research Cluster. And this is our common space. So where we come have like informal lunches every month to kind of talk about what we're up to. People who are coming from a variety of different backgrounds related to performance. Some of them as performers, as artists, from a bunch of different disciplines: dance, music, theater, performance art, circus, and also people who are researching performance. So a variety of different perspectives in there. And our goal in many ways is to just get people talking to each other, because from that there's all these amazing collaborations that come about, and a student showcase in the springtime, and a bunch of sort of opportunities, ways of kind of connecting work to each other and sharing and showing stuff.
And Lucy, since when you're the coordinator of LeParc?
Since 2019. So I had like about half a year of normalcy, and then since then.
But that's wonderful. So you know the cluster before.
Yeah, exactly.
And how did you navigate the pandemic with since you are performing arts and everything is moving and body.
It was very well, it was challenging. I think one of the things that really helped with that was that we ended up having these regular discussions, like a lot of people did, I think, online. But we were trying to give each other prompts to go do things not online, to go do things outside or in our own spaces, and then come back as well. Find ways of kind of keeping practicing alive, and still being able to discover something about the way that what we do as performers might shift or evolve. There are a lot of conversations about sort of understanding kind of like the inner nugget of why we're doing what we're doing. Sometimes because we've just seen it disrupted, sometimes because we find something new about it. And I would say it affected a certain amount of like caution with the spaces we now want to create. I feel like there's a very deliberateness to the projects that we've started up again, which is kind of wonderful in some ways.
That's great. And what's this pizza here? I've been smelling this pizza for a while. And
I don't think we should be coveting other people's lunches at this time.
Yeah, I was running from our rehearsals. That's what that pizza is. Eating does happen in this space. We do have a microwave. We do have a tea kettle. The idea is just to be able to be who you are, live here, do what you need to do, talk to folks. There's often like people kind of crashing on the couch, working on their stuff and checking in. So it's alive.
Yeah, and it's a good place maybe to say that at Milieux we do our famous pixel lunches, and we have one upcoming next Thursday. So if you're around then, you want to come by, check it out. There are gonna be tours of our spaces, so a real in-person tour.
Real free pizza.
Real pizza, not just camera pizza.
Yeah.
So Lucy, now I know you are doing an improv session.
Yeah. People are still arriving. It's a little bit early, but what I would suggest is maybe we go see, I believe Alejandra is in the residency room because
Let's
she's been
go.
working with Sophie. You can see if she's, I don't have my key on my physical person right now.
It's the other one.
The other one. Whoops.
No.
I've been doing this for 3 years. I know. Hi. Is that a good time? Is it okay?
Yes.
This is our first session.
Hello.
Hello.
How are you?
How are you?
We're fine. We've been doing all the spaces. So what is this?
Well, this is an exploration that I've been doing that is called the Milieux or Puesta en Cuerpo. And it's kind of performative exploration about geography, language, and also at this point I am working with the space, with what the Sense Lab means, and I have prepared like performative action here, thinking in precisely geography. And also I brought like this kind of cardboard books that are really important for my practice because I work with the disentangling all these ideas that sometimes come up in the process. So this has been published before by our publishing house. This publishing house was born in Tijuana, Mexico, like 12 years ago, and I've been part of Kodama Cartonera since 2015. And what I've been trying to develop is embodied listening and somatic experiences through the idea of doing the cardboard books, the covers of these cardboards.
Working with the materials.
Yeah, working with the materials and trying to explore the relational aspects also when we are doing workshops, for example. And we find that people just came and find themselves like they are having like inner conversations, and then they are all working together, and this creates like a very soft relational aspect, but at the same time it's a deep relational aspect. Mm-hmm. So here we have like three kind of works. This comes from Mexico. They are two authors, emergent authors. One is the illustrator Espiga and Danik Satiji. They created this story that talks about forced labors in Mexico, children forced labors in Mexico. And also here we have recycled languages because we believe in justice language, so that we can embrace different aspects of language. And yeah, we try to include Spanish, French, also English. And well, I'm going to start with my action.
Yeah, can you introduce yourself? Like,
yes, I forgot.
What's your program?
Excited. Okay, I am Cristina Jimenez or Ale Jimenez. I use both names. And I am from the Indie program in humanities. I am a PhD student. I'm in the second year. And well, this week I've been exploring and I want to continue. Yeah. Because yes, I've noticed that this space is like a huge stage. I mean, I would love to keep on working here. So yes.
Do you want to show us something?
Yeah, well,
yeah.
It's a long durational
I've been working with the drawing, but this drawing is not doing lines or strokes. It's more like trying to get in touch with those images that we have from our territories or from our geographies. Yeah, you can be whatever you want, and I forgot my so basically, I've been working with this idea during these days that some people came here. They were just joining the action. They were intervening, talking about the ideas that came up when I draw the map. And also on Tuesday we had class with Erin Manning here. And it was amazing to see how the traces remain, even if we walk on the drawing, the traces remain there. So I mean, that's important. And
Still running on your. I have no idea how it's going.
Oh,
No, don't worry about it. Yeah.
Hey, I just want to say, you want to come to I'm not associated with technology, just trying to stop people like you. It is 12, oh sorry, 1:18.
I've been also thinking of this word that is the sound creation and how it is always impossible to encapsulate whether a territory or a body in a simple drawing or in the trace of in the stroke or in the lines of a map. So
there's a point when you were drawing where I was like, oh, I'm lost. You know, there's a part like I know where I am, and I'm like, oh no, I'm lost. Or like a part right here where I'm from Massachusetts and there's a Cape Cod is missing.
You know,
like, oh, what's important for me is not the big picture.
and that's that's super important what you're mentioning because although when we were trying to be as careful as you could as your eye, there's always things that escape from our hands, our vision, our even the maps, you know. And I came with this idea of the map because I've been trying to define what belonging means. What's the meaning of moving from one side to the other, not necessarily as a migration act, but what's the motivation sometimes just to trace a map with your feet. And especially my relationship with America, not the South America that's like the whole Americans that it is said that they were just one big version of land. So to me, those things are really relevant nowadays, and especially because I've been thinking also a lot in animals, mythical animals. So these days I also been exploring about the condor, that it's Condor de los Andes, which is one of the symbols in many countries, like 4 countries in South America. So the condor is my intuition is that after this stage starts like emerging or evolving, the next step might be talking more profoundly about the content. Because it's relevant in this map is that I've found that condors are present in South America from Tierra del Fuego until Sierra Nevada, Santa Marta in Colombia, and they are just one, let's say, family of condors. But in North America and in the United States, there are also condors. They are not the same Andean condor, but and it's another type of condor. But this presence of these animals that are symbolic animals and mythical animals in our territories are super important, and because they were considered the messengers. The messengers between the sky and the goddess and the gods in the sky, and then with their presence in the earth. So
we do need to head off to our next place. Yeah, we need to head off to the Solar Media Collective next. Yeah. Sorry, I didn't want to interrupt. I just
it's okay.
been in touch with them, so
thank you.
That's
wonderful.
Thank you so much for this.
Thanks for welcoming that
Thank
into
you,
your
Lucy.
No worries.
Yes, thank you
That's
so
it.
much.
I just have one last question.
Of
before we
course.
head out LeParc from the sea. What happens if a student is interested in LeParc? How can they get in contact? Or
They
like,
should write to me at leparc.milieux@gmail.com. It's also on the website, but you can just write to me and I'll be happy to share more information.
Thank you so much, Lucy.
Thank
It's
you
been
so
wonderful.
much.
Thank you so
Bye.
much.
Bye.
Exciting.
all right. That was amazing.
Fantastic.
That was wonderful.
So we just walked past Diggs, and we're going to come back and see them in a minute, but we're going to pop quickly into Solar Media now
Yeah.
and see if they're ready for us now.
Yeah. Well, the Solar Media Collective started last year. Last year, year and a half ago.
Is that right? Yeah, it has been about it has been over a year. I've lost track of the years recently with all the things that have been going on in the world. I don't honestly fully remember how it's been.
Yeah. So hi.
How long it's been.
So,
We're back
to talk to the Solar Media Collective.
Two of the Solar Media Collective.
The two members of the Solar Media Collective. So hi, do you want to introduce yourself and the Solar Media Collective?
Yeah, sure. So my name is Jana Prinzel. I'm a PhD candidate at Concordia, and
Hi, yes.
You've already seen me a bunch of times today. My name is Pani, and I'm currently an MA student here in anthropology, and I'm also part of Milieux through various ways. I'm part of the social media team at Milieux, and I'm also part of the Solar Media Collective and part of that.
Okay, so what's this
Solar Media Collective?
The collective is a group that explores the affordances of solar energy for digital communication systems. And so, like we have a bunch of like different like
projects like groups. So one is that we have been building a solar server with a Raspberry Pi run on solar power that is going to be set up permanently here at Milieux, but also that we've been taking around campus a few times in the past summer, and so we're hoping to turn this into to use the server space for a bunch of different projects. So at the moment, we are using it as a mobile hotspot, so that people can connect to it when they're like in the immediate surrounding and play a game called Life of a Solar Panel, which dives a bit into like the production of solar panel hardware and the affordances and benefits, and also potential some risks in terms of like e-waste production and recycling of solar panels, and to just learn about like how we can like reimagine like digital systems that are powered by solar. And I don't know if you want to.
Yeah, what I really like about the Solar Media Collective actually is that it is this group of interdisciplinary people coming together despite their different backgrounds. It's very collaborative, it's very experimental. So a lot of us don't come from a tech background, but at the same time, we do a lot of things that have to do with tech. And solar media in itself is a big umbrella that gathers so many different topics under it. So, for instance, we all care about plant obsoleteness. We all care about the environment, about zero waste, as Yana was talking, and that produces itself in multiple projects that aren't just centered around having a solar server or harnessing solar power. So, like, we have made games, we have hacked into Game Boys and other consoles. We have hosted the group discussions, book discussions, a lot of things to brew more ideas that we otherwise wouldn't have thought of if we didn't collaborate together.
And we could actually take a little walk to our display, unless folks have already seen it.
We showed the display before
Then,
coming here.
Yeah, okay.
But I wanted to know a little bit, like, how can folks interested in studying the affordances of solar energy can get in contact with you? Also, are they coming from cross-disciplinary backgrounds, or can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, we have group members or members of the collective who come from different disciplinary backgrounds. So like anthropology, communication studies, mainly sociology, game studies. We also have
independent humanities.
Independent humanities, like computational arts. We have a few external members, so who are not like Concordia students or faculty. So they are also involved in the work and like decided to join the collective because they were interested in on their own time without the institutional affiliation. And so basically we I guess in terms of activities, we do so we have experimental sessions, we run workshops here in the makerspace and elsewhere. We have in the past summer, like I mentioned, we basically made the solar server mobile, and that was a collaboration with a project called Pedalbox with one of our collective members, Christine White, that has been working on for a long time. It's basically a bike trailer, so it's like a trailer that gets towed by bicycle for community engagement purposes, public engagement, so that you can just be out in the street in the park and participate in the interactive installations on the pedal box. And we have a website, so if folks are interested in checking it out and reading more, it's solar-media.net. And yeah, you're welcome to drop us a message to the email addresses on the website.
Perhaps we can also show you or join interactive visual model if you want to have.
I don't actually have access to it right now because the server is off.
Okay, but thank you so much. This has been wonderful.
Should we head over to Diggs and see if they're ready for us?
Yeah, we have to head over
Thank
to
you
the
so
Milieux
much.
Institute. Thank you so much. Have a great day and weekend. Bye. Okay, so we're heading now to the Media History Lab to talk
The what? Which lab? The Media and Materiality Lab?
Yeah.
The Media and Materiality Lab.
Yeah, media
Perfect.
Yeah, of course.
Yes.
Now they are called Media and Materiality. And Dix is gonna be there. So Digital Intimacy and Sexuality, Gender and Sexuality Lab. So yeah, let's go. This is our final location. Okay.
Thank you all for coming along on this ride.
Yeah, following us.
We're slowly creeping up on the Diggs Lab now. We're about to pop in and say hello. I think we might be a couple of minutes early.
We're early. Can we enter? Okay. Hi, Stephanie. How are you?
Good. How are you? Hi, everybody.
Oh, we are.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
So we are located in the Media History Research Center here at Milieux. And the DIGS Lab is the Digital Intimacy, Gender, and Sexuality Lab. And what we do encompasses that. So we focus on how digital media and technologies are changing our intimate relationships, shaping our everyday lives, affecting our expression of gender and sexuality. And there are people researching a range of things in the lab, from algorithms and algorithmic bias online to AI-generated photo albums to expressions of sad girl music on TikTok. So there's a lot of different things going on, exciting projects. And today we are creating an analog feed. It's kind of modeled after Tumblr. We have a lot of feelings about Tumblr and the different phases it's been through.
Digslr.
So we are making a Digslr that contains memes and images that reflect our research, our experiences of being scholars, and also some snapshots of the lab in there as well.
That's wonderful. Thank you. And Stephanie, you are also faculty, right?
Yes, I'm an assistant professor in the Department of Communication Studies.
Wow, that's wonderful. And also you have a wonderful view.
We do.
What is this? This is amazing.
Because it's downtown Montreal every day.
What a privilege.
Right? The sun comes up this direction. So if you come in the morning, you can get a sundown.
This is wonderful. And all of you are students of this?
Yeah.
You're members.
Introduce yourself.
Yeah, if you like to introduce yourself and tell like what are you studying, how did you get involved with this?
My name is Chris Volvang. This is what the bottom of my face looks like. It really is. I'm a third-year PhD student. I'm studying algorithmically generated photo albums and how they affect personal memories.
Nice to meet you.
I'm Ben. I'm a second-year communication student, and I'm studying cabins in Canada in the Louis region.
Wow, that's great.
Hi, I'm Hannah. I'm first year student in the Media Studies MA, and I'm studying sad girl music on TikTok and how that's an expression of sexual happiness.
Hello, I am Özgem. I am also a first year MA student in Media Studies, and I'm studying online identity and experience shifts between real world and virtual world.
That's wonderful. And Stephanie, how can you tell us a little bit if students want to get involved across Concordia and also outside?
Sure.
How can they get in contact with the lab?
So this is just a snapshot of folks who are involved with the lab. We've got the core labs, students that I supervise and students who are visiting scholars. That consists of about 8 people right now. And then we also have a DIGS community that we're trying to foster across Milieux and across departments and disciplines. And so all you have to do is go to digslab.net. That's digslab.net. And sign up for our newsletter. And then you'll get to hear about the reading groups, the idea workshops, and the speakers that we have throughout the year.
Yeah, well, I have one more question. I have other questions today. So, what about the role of DIGS at Milieux and within the university? What can you tell us about that?
Yeah, so we, as you know about Milieux, is that it functions through clusters, and they're not supposed to be firm boundaries. There's interaction among clusters, and so we try to work alongside our colleagues here at the Media History Research Center. If folks want to bring in someone, last year we brought in Dr. Robin Kaplan from Data and Society, and that was a joint initiative among machine agencies and the DIGS Lab to really get cutting edge speakers that speak across disciplines and across research interests. So we have all sorts of initiatives like that. And some of the students also can be part of multiple clusters. So I think that some of you are involved in other clusters as well, right?
Ben and I are members of the post-image cluster as well. We work and dabble in photography, so we are kind of at that research creation boundary of the digital research methods here and some of the other visual research that post-image enables for us. Correct?
Yes, I second that. Chris has got it exact.
Nice.
Yes.
Thank you so much. Okay, I'm gonna film one last time this beautiful board of Tumblr.
Yes, because next time you see it, it might be different.
Digslr. Wow. All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, everyone.
For us. Bye.
Bye.
Okay. Oh, that was fantastic.
That was fantastic, Ariana.
Yeah.
That was really, really fun.
Okay.
This is really
so-
interesting. I had actually never really considered a lot of that. So that was really interesting. They're a newest edition, I think, or one of the newer additions to Milieux. So it's not, oh, hello, Dor. It's nice to learn a little bit more about them. I know that for me.
Yeah. Okay.
I
So
haven't known
we're
very
at
much.
the end. We're gonna go basically to our nurse center. We're gonna go back. We're gonna go up the stairs once more. And we're gonna say a closing remarks. Bart is gonna talk. Hopefully.
Let's go see Bart for the closing
Thank
remarks.
you for being here with
Absolutely.
us. This has been a wonderful ride.
I think it's the more,
the most
here in the new case. Bart?
Yeah. So where's Bart going
You
to
want
give a
talk,
closing address here?
You want to talk here?
What do you mean witty?
Wow, okay.
Wow.
So just to give an update for the preparations for Gamerella, electrical is being installed. Everything is going to be ready for this weekend for a beautiful Gamerella event. Computer towers, laptops.
Like
gaming computers? Yeah, it's a big gaming event that's going on here. There's going to be like about 3 to 4 people per table, most likely.
Okay.
It's one computer per table, or
No,
more than
Okay.
3 to 4.
So
Bart,
we've come to the end.
Yeah.
we've come to the end.
It was a pretty long tour. It just goes to show you we have a lot of stuff here, and we didn't even get to everything, but we got to a ton of stuff. That was a few hours of nonstop camera work from Mark and Ariana, from everyone downstairs. Thank you all for coming. Thanks to the entire team for putting this together. It was a lot of fun. We've got a lot of great little sound bites and snippets and things that we can show everybody. And of course, the YouTube video is available to look at later, should you want to. It's fantastic. We'll do this again for sure. Thanks a lot, everybody.
Thank you. All right. Thank you, Mark.
Thank you, Ariana. It's
Thank
been
you.
wonderful signing out. Over and out
Okay.
and things.
Over and out.